Hi beautiful soulmates. So today we are going to making a simple wide leg trouser. So if you are a size 8, size 6, size 10, you can make use of 2 yards or 2.5 yards of fabric. So the first thing I went ahead to do was to measure my length of trouser. For this I'm making use of 41 inches. After determining the length of your trouser, the next thing you need to go ahead to measure your crotch length. For my crotch length is my hip divided by 4 plus half an inch allowance or 1 inch allowance. Then you repeat the same thing for your hip length. This is what I'm doing. I also repeated the same thing and I added 2 extra inches for my thigh length and I curved that into a curve line. Then I went ahead to measure my waist. So my waist divided by 4 and I went ahead to measure my hip length, which is 8 inches, and I curve that to my hip. Then after doing that, the next thing you went ahead to do is to determine the wideness of your pants for the leg. So you determine the wideness of it, and the next thing you go ahead to do is to divide it into 2. So you divide your trouser into 2. So after dividing your trouser into 2, then the next thing you go ahead to do is to measure your knee. So I'm determining my knee. I'm making use of 19 inches. 19 inches for my knee. So for my waist to my knee is 19 inches, as you can see me doing. After doing that, I went ahead to measure my knee, my round knee, and I repeated the same thing down to my bottom. So what I had for my round knee, I repeated the same thing down and I rolled that into a straight line. So here I'm making use of my tape rule and not my ruler because I don't have a ruler that is as long as that. So I'm making use of my tape. Then I connect all my lines together, as you can see me doing. So at this point, you need to take your time in doing this. So after making sure all your lines are accurate, then you go ahead and cut. So basically, this is just how it is for the front pattern of your trouser. So after arranging my fabric, I place my front pattern on top of it, and from the waist end, that crotch area, I took in 1 inch and I added 2 extra inches at the crotch depth. I added 2 extra inches at the cup depth so that for ease, so that the trouser will have ease. So after doing that, I was trying to adjust my trouser, my fabric, because I didn't have enough of it. So I'm adding 2 extra inches. And at the waist area, I took in 1 inch inward and 1 inch upward. And I added extra 2 inches down to the bottom of my trouser, as you can see me doing. So after achieving that, the next thing you need to go ahead to do is to connect that 2 inches extra up to the waistline. Connect that 2 inches extra up to the waistline and remeasure your waist. Now, because you are cutting the back, you are going to have extra. So you have to make sure that you don't roll it in a straight line. You have to roll it slantly. Then you have to add back the 1 inches extra that was added at the back waist, and you connect that down to the bottom of your trouser. Now at this point, you can just connect it down to your hip line or your knee line if you don't want to add extra. You don't want your leg to be too big. So after connecting that, the next thing you need to go ahead to do is to cut your fabric, as you can see me doing. Now I have 2 pieces for my front and 2 pieces for my back. So after doing that, you go ahead to measure your dart line, as you can see me doing. So I'm measuring my dart line for both my front pattern and my back pattern. So basically this is how it is. So after achieving that, I went ahead to measure my pockets. Now the pocket bag, I took in 1 inch from the waistline and 7 inches length for the pockets. So at this point, you can see the length of my pocket bag is 14 inches by 14 inches. That is the length of my pocket bag. So after doing that, I placed it underneath my trouser and I cut it according to the shape I had made earlier with my chalk. So guys, that is all for the pattern. Let's sew. So the first thing we need to do is to sew our dart line that we marked earlier for both our front and our back, and also sew the crotch depth, the crotch seam. Now because I am going to be making use of side zipper, that is why I'm sewing the back crotch. But if you're not making use of side zipper, if you want to make use of back zipper, please don't sew your crotch depth towards the end. So after doing that, I'll also go ahead to sew in my pockets. So at this point, I have already sewn my dart line and I've sewed in my crotch, and also this is the back. For the front, I've also did the same thing, and I have also sewn my pockets, as you can see. Now the next thing you need to go ahead to do is to join both fabric together. Now your front and your back together. Now because I said we're adding side zipper, so we are going to leave about 8 inches on one side open for our zipper. So we're going to sew the two sides and the crotch area. So at this point, I've sewed the two sides and also the crotch area, as you can see in the video, and I've also gone ahead to weave it. So the next thing we need to go ahead to do is to put in our band. So this band is 2 inches width and 28 inches length. So my waist is 26, but I'm making use of 28 inches for the extra allowance for the zipper. So you're just going to go ahead to sew in the waist like that. As you can see, I'm trying to pin it for accuracy. So after doing that, you're just going to sew it and put in your zipper. After putting in your zipper, then you hem the bottom of your trouser. And guys, this is basically it. You can see it's so simple, so fast. You know, this is just the easy and the simplest method to sew your trouser. So guys, I've done that. I've put in my band and I've put in my dart. I've put in my zipper, as you can see. Then you just need it to be ironed properly and well, and you're going to love the outcome of this trouser. So guys, I also have a tutorial on a very detailed tutorial on my channel on how to make a trouser. So if you don't understand this, please kindly go and watch that and you will love it. Definitely, you're going to love it. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate. I love you. Bye.
So after pinning it, I'm just going to sew it on and I'm going to end my trouser and put in my zip. So that is basically what I have for the trouser, as you can see. So at this point, I've done everything. I have inserted my zip, I have put my pocket, my waistband. Everything is sitting well. And most importantly, do not forget to iron your fabric. Do not forget to iron it. Now see how the trouser is sitting well on me. Thank you so much. Love you.